And here we all are again. Happy Friday, everyone. For the first time in a few weeks, the T-shirt hasn't been in the laundry basket. I'm looking a little bit Uncle Festerish there, aren't I? Let's see if we can do something about that. Let's just turn this down a bit. There we go. That's a little bit more civilised, isn't it? Greetings, everyone. Fatcasters far and wide, as I've just seen somebody say in the chat. It's Friday again. It's time for a beer. Speaking of which, cheers, everyone. Carlsberg export once again. I've got to tell you, it is my home tipple of choice these days. I just got Heineken thanks to Mr. Balder a few weeks ago, and I enjoyed it. It was massively enjoyable, but I'm finding the Carlsberg just that little bit more to my palate recently. So there you go. Anyway, enough flippancy. Let's have a little bit of a look and see who's in the chat and who was first in. Once again, Teacher's Pet this week. The award goes to Amadeus with Rent to Kill hot on his heels. Then we've got Cylon Hybrid, David James, Peter Collins, and Johnny Random. Terry Day is in. Rent to Kill's saying, I've just been watching that Clarkson's Farm. Absolutely brilliant, especially when he calls that little pig Richard Ham. Yeah, addicted to it. There's more episodes available as of tomorrow, I think. Excuse me. Been fine all day. As soon as I start yabbering to you lot, I start getting me tickly cough back. We'll find a cue though. Clarkson's Farm. If you're not watching it, then you should be. Fantastic show. Where are we? Dr. Gomez 1 is in, so is Peter Nicholson. There's Theme Tunes. Tom Clark, Vincent Brennan, Mark Kerno, Francis Chambers is in, as is Anton, Dave Fiendish, and Paul Trainer BSc, who has, as usual, chucked a couple of quid in the tip jar. Thank you so much, mate. Much appreciated. That will get spent on, it'll go towards the Chinese that I'm treating the wife to tomorrow night. Yes, we're going to have a lovely little Chinese restaurant out of the corner from us. Happiness Inn. Fantastic food, and just fancy it this weekend. So that will go towards that. Thank you so much, mate. There's Joe McMurray. Autogeddon 1, Andy Holmes, who's in a cloudy Derbyshire. Yeah, it started off pretty cloudy here today in Redcar, but then brightened up. But we had the usual Redcar gusty winds as well. Rob Staboy, long time no see, mate. Rob Staboy is a pal of mine over in the US of A, and nice to see that you're taking time. I'm guessing you're probably on your lunch break at work, mate. So or if you're not, then you're just wasting your boss's time. Good for you, mate. Where are we? We got John Ross. We got Grumpy Horse. We got Michael Dodds. Who's saying, I take it you didn't go to that music festival in Redcar last week? No, I didn't. No, as I understand it, it was all It was a festival of what I refer to as dunch music. You know, dunch music. You hear it when a car goes past, and you just hear dunch, 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 dunch. From my understanding, it was that kind of racket, which I will always give a wide berth to. Stephen Polk is in, so is PFY Guitars. Nathan is in. Theme Tunes is saying, anyone know what these crown icons mean next to a name in the chat? I was wondering that myself, mate. If anybody's got any suggestions, then let me know. Grandpa Joe, as always, says, it doesn't matter what the weather is, the sun always shines in Fatcaster land. Oh, and Joe, you are my marketing manager, mate. Support John's channel by joining his Patreon. Tier 2 gives you twice a month chat with fellow fatos. I'm not paying Joe to say this. This is just Joe being a generous chap and giving me a shout out. I'm far too English to do that for myself. Hide the light under a bushel and all of that. But Joe, thank you so much, mate. Who else we got? Got Chris Ottowell, I beg your pardon. Ben Allmark, 60s man. Chip Young is in, so is Mark Gowans, Johnny D, and we got Doc Alders, the Essex Cat, Austin Barrett, And who else? We've got John Channing. Nice to see you, mate. There's Brad Dowell, Johnny H, and Ian Clark. Listening in the car, hopefully home in time for Readers' Wives. We don't call it that anymore, mate. Well, you buggers do, but, I try not to. Colin Falcon is in, so is Peter Williamson. Cal Texper is there, so is Stephen Allner, all the way from Florida. Yes. I've said before, and I'll say it again, just seeing people in the chat from New York City and, Phoenix, Arizona, and, and Florida, it just always seems so exotic to me, that these places I'd grown up seeing in movies and stuff, and now I'm kind of blithering away to you while having a beer on a Friday. Magical. We got Pablo Hank and Blue Sofa Songs. Anyone else is in there? Yes, I think they're Gus Slinger. Jimmy James is in, so is Mott the Hoople 2010. So really loved the slide guitar video this week. I may still be more Ry Vita than Ry Cuda, but helped me out no end. I think that was a couple of weeks ago, mate, but but thank you for the compliment. Robin Fawcett is in, so is M.W. Cardy and Jay Aoyon. Gary Shaw, session guitar legend that he is, has just joined us, and William Forrest, Nick Shaw, Steve Cassidy, watching... don't forget his video going out straight after this live stream. I beg your pardon, I don't know what's up with my voice today. Anyway, Steve's checking out some flat wound strings at, precisely the moment this live stream ends. So go and show him a bit of support and like, comment and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. Who else we got? We've got Calby and the Rocco Cat, Glenn Bailey at I Like Black Guitars, and Malcolm Spillett is in. Who else have we got? We got Stephen Hedger. We got Bill Mumbo, Greg H, and George Wall is in. So is Phil Osborne. Nice to see you, Phil. Adrian Laws Sargi is in, by the way. I don't think we've seen you for a little while, mate, but nice to have you back. Chicky Sheena is there. And who else have we got? We got Ollie M. We got Buckingham Bard. Cheers from the heart of the Virginia Buckaroos. Oh, again, exotic. Mr. Chris is in. Who else have we got? We've got, a super chat from Phil Osborne. Have some naan bread on me. I don't think they serve naan bread in the Chinese, mate, but is it okay if I put it towards spring rolls? Thank you so much. Mississippi Blues is there, so is Eric Luttinger and Gus Slinger. Who else have we got? Who's also in Florida? And another super chat from Mr. Chris. Thank you so much, mate. And another super chat from Glenn Bailey at I Like Black Guitars. You are being very, very generous in the tips department this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, or this wherever it is. You're being very generous in the tips department. Thank you so much, everyone, for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute cobblers for the next hour or thereabouts. I have no idea. Well, I often say I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I do. I've got something to show you this evening, or in today's stream, that I'm not sure whether to be amused or angry about. It's one of those things you'll understand when you see it, but it is both kind of annoying and amusing at the same time. It's an eBay listing. If you keep, like we all do, browsing eBay in our idle moments, not that I get too many of those, but you know what I mean, then you're bound to have come across this listing, and it's let's just say that the person concerned has been rather ambitious with their pricing, but we'll get to that later. So what's coming up on the channel this week then? Well, on Sunday, I've got a Telecaster to show you. Not mine. It's one of those Squire 40th anniversary Telecasters that came out a little while ago. Beautiful looking guitar in Sherwood green with an anodized gold scratch plate. Absolutely beautiful looking thing. And, it's been loaned to me by a very good friend of mine and friend of this channel, a chap called David. You've seen oodles of his guitars on here before, and he's just he's got a few that he wants to share with me. So that's one of them, and there's a couple more coming up in coming weeks. Anyway, that's Sunday's video. Monday, it's a lesson on our old friend, good old Uncle Pentatonic Scale. I've done countless videos on the pentatonic scale, and I will probably do countless more, because it is, as I kind of always say, the framework upon which everything else is built. Even if you don't think in terms of pentatonic shapes on the guitar, they are there and you are using them regardless. So it's a lesson on that, about pentatonic mobility, how the patterns relate to each other, how we can use that knowledge in a very musical way. So it's part of the Melodic Rock series of videos that I do on a Monday, alternating with blues on the opposite week. And this coming Monday is the turn of melodic rock, a little bit of a pentatonic lesson. Then Tuesday's video, you might recall that a few weeks ago I put a community post up and said, tell me which are the most overrated bands in all of the rock canon, and boy did you respond. And there was one clear winner and a few others as well. So you're going to have to watch on Tuesday to see who you voted as the most overrated bands in the rock genre. So that's going to be, that's a good one. It's a good video, that one, even though I say so myself. Wednesday's video is pretty good as well. As you know, on Wednesdays I've been doing a series on home recording, looking at the hardware and the software that you need, and little bits and pieces and tricks that I use to that seem to work for me. I'm not making any claims to be, a professional sound engineer and know it all inside out, because I don't. These are just some little tips and hints that work for me, and hopefully they'll work for you too. Well, on Wednesday's video, excuse me, I'm fighting hiccups at the moment. I beg your pardon. On Wednesday's video, we're looking at the art of doing the mix, how you can use automation and envelopes and all of that kind of stuff when you're, kind of finishing off a track. And if that sounds a little bit complex and intimidating, I promise you it isn't. And you can witness that on Wednesday's video. Thursday, just one of the sort of wild card videos where I'm sort of talking about stuff that's on my mind, offering an opinion, if you like. And the opinion this coming week is on music streaming, Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, all of those services where you can basically listen to music without having to go out and buy it. And I'll be kind of thinking, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? And you can find out what my opinion of it is on Thursday, and there you go. Let's have a little bit of a look in the chat. See what I've been missing. Jay Aoyong saying, what dishes from the Chinese menu will you be having, John? I usually have chicken chow mein, and the missus often has Cantonese sweet and sour with fried rice, Cantonese sweet and sour chicken with fried rice, and we get a bag of prawn crackers for Dougal because he likes prawn crackers. He would sit and eat the whole bag in one sitting if he could. Jeff Rock is in saying, hi John, just checking in from the caravan in Ludlow. I hope cider is an acceptable beverage, 7.4%. At 7.4%, mate, that's a very acceptable beverage. Let's have a look. Austin Barrett is saying, love the food in Florida, everything blackened. Yeah, that's a little bit like Redcar. The sun's been out today, so there's been an all-pervading smell of lighter fluid and burnt sausages because everybody's had the barbecue fired up. Let's have a wee look, see what else I've been missing. I see there's a lot of discussion there. My missus considers me annoying and interesting. Yes, okay. Yeah, mine too, mate. Are they related? Chip Young is saying, anyone pulled the trigger on the recent Squire Telly Troublemaker with a CBS headstock? No, I almost did, and then it was a CBS headstock that put me off. If it had had like a traditional, like normal Fender headstock rather than the boat paddle, which I don't like, it's and if it had 22 frets, or if it had just had either of those things, then I might have been tempted. But 21 frets and a CBS era headstock, nah, sorry, not. It's just I don't do that. Vincent Brennan saying Defo Coldplay, I'd say, for the most overrated band. You'll have to wait till Tuesday, mate. Johnny Random's reckoning Coldplay. Michael Purcell is saying Oasis. The Monkey, said Mr. Chris. J. Aoyong, G and Freckin R. Yeah, well, all of these names may or may not occur in the lineup on Tuesday. Theme tunes saying got to be AC/DC for me. How to stretch a pair of cliches to rock superstardom. Oh, I don't diss AC/DC. It's I went through adolescence to that band. I see I've got another super chat there. Where's that come from? Stephen Allner. What would you advise someone stuck in the beginner intermediate stage? What would you advise them to work on? Depends what you're stuck on, mate. If you're, the first hurdle most people struggle to get past is bar chords. If you're okay with those, then perhaps. I mean, what's your strumming technique like? I just did a blog post today for the Patreon guys, and talking about the importance of rhythm. So, the strumming, perhaps rhythm, counting beats in a bar, practical hands-on skills, anything and everything that you can do to get better fretboard knowledge and better understanding of rhythm. I know that kind of covers a lot of things, but I don't know what your particular weaknesses are, mate. But if I was giving general advice, it would be those two things. Jay Aoyong, you, sir, are a gentleman. Thank you so much. Have some dim sums on me. I will do that, mate. I'll see if they're on the menu, and we've got another one in here. No, I think I'm all caught up with the super chats. Thank you so much for your generosity, everyone. Much appreciated. And shall we get onto this listing that I want to show you, this eBay listing? I think we should, because this is just utterly ridiculous. Or, as my old fella used to say, piss potical. Right, here we go. It's an eBay listing, as you can see. Right, I hope you can see my screen at the moment. And there's 11 pictures of this guitar. Now it looks like a Les Paul, doesn't it? It's sort of single cut, but to the sort of more, shall we say, trained eye, you can tell that it's not the real thing. It's something a little bit off about the body shape. The fret markers don't go all the way up. That headstock shape doesn't look right. Let's investigate further. We can see straight away that the screw heads there, no USA Gibson has that kind of bridge on it, so it's obviously a copy. And just looking at the general kind of condition of it, it looks old, but not in an old and vintage kind of way, just old and knackered. There we go. We can definitely see there that it's got a bolt-on neck. So, it's looking a lot like that satellite Les Paul copy that's on the back wall, kind of a budget guitar from the 70s, basically, probably made of plywood, bubblegum and snot. There we go. Again, you can see the body shape. It's not quite there, is it? It's got fender knobs on it for some reason. Then the frets don't look in bad condition. They don't look pitted or anything. So plenty of meat left in them, I suppose. And look at those tuners. Look at those tuners. You can feel how gritty and lumpy they are just from looking at that picture there, can't you? Awful things. I'm sure we've all played guitars with those tuners on. Not good at all. And there we have it, the bolt-on neck. There it is. And, hardly an ergonomic design. Typical, as I say, of the kind of cheap Les Paul copies that you used to be able to buy for, 60 or 70 quid out of your mother's catalogue in the late 70s. There is a side shot, nothing really of any value there to gain from that, but some really cruddy looking damage on the upper bout here. That looks like it's been used as a kind of as a baseball bat or something, doesn't it? And is that a split in the neck pocket? It certainly could be. If I saw that on any guitar, I would want to, kind of have more information on that. Again, another side shot there, and then we're back to the original picture. Right, so we've got the idea here. It's a cheap budget guitar, probably from the mid to late 70s, and, it's not going to be the greatest musical instrument you've ever played. Shall we see what it's up for? I think we should. £3,999. They want 1 penny shy of £4,000 for that. Yes, deal Croydon. I think you need to just basically, stop smoking, whatever you're smoking, and, get real. I contacted eBay about this, and I'll show you why. Let's go and have a little bit of a look down at the description here, right? It is coming with a UK 3-pin plug, and you need an adapter if you're going to use it outside the UK. Are they suggesting that you plug this into the mains? I mean, that is, I think we've all seen that meme of the guy who makes a homemade electric guitar and plugs it into the mains and gets, gets a big surprise when he touches it. That is potentially, a lethal piece of kit if that's how they're selling it. So I contacted eBay, and eBay said, well, we don't think it's breaching our guidelines. We've investigated, and that's the end of it. So I contacted the seller, and I said, this is not a genuine Les Paul. I'm a professional guitarist and have been for over 3 decades. You've listed this falsely. You need to amend your listing. And they replied with, we checked what it was before we listed it, and we're happy with the listing. Go away. So, yeah. Just a word of advice, everyone. Don't buy anything from Deal Croydon, presumably in Croydon in the UK. They obviously can't tell their backside from a hole in the ground. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, they came back to me with they made an offer, a discount. They offered me I could. I've still got the offer in my inbox somewhere. I could buy this guitar for £3,599.99. Funnily enough, I declined the offer. So there, well, you can see up there. You've turned down this seller's offer of £3,599. Yeah, no, no doubt I did. I almost said a naughty word then, but I won't. So there you go, folks. Is that the most ridiculous listing you have ever seen? Let's see what you've been saying about that. Looks like an Avon to me from around 1978. Yep. Jeff Rock saying, I've still got my Columbus LP from that era. It came with DiMarzio Super Distortions. Oh, somebody'd upgrade it. Ravensmead, let's all make him an offer. Doc Alders, you can't be angry at this. It's beyond parody. The thing that annoyed me really was that thing of like are they suggesting that you plug this into the mains, or was just that part of a general listing that they put on with all of their listings? It's that is utterly ridiculous, is it not? Don't worry, we're going to be having a look at some rather more attractive guitars very shortly. Right after, I have, Rick Derringer. Yeah, sad loss. We lost him this week. My first memory of Rick Derringer was that. Do you remember Weird Al Yankovic, the sort of parody artist? When I heard his parody of Michael Jackson's "Beat It" called "Eat It," I remember that, and the guitar solo on that. Apparently, the sort of rehash of Eddie's solo on "Beat It" was played by Rick Derringer, and that's when he first came onto my radar. Then I did hear a rumor that the Steely Dan song "Ricky Don't Lose That Number" was about him, but that's since been debunked, I think. But yeah, hell of a guitar player. Can't say I've followed his career closely, but everything I've heard that had him playing on it, it always just seemed like like he was a great player in the sort of old school bluesy rock, and with a little bit of flashy stuff thrown in. And I just, I didn't hear what caused his passing, but a sad loss to the guitar community. Rest in peace, Rick. You will be missed. Let's have a look. Steve Cassidy saying, potential buyers that stupid usually won't have £4 to spend on a guitar. Yeah, indeed. Chip Young saying, it's an AI listing, John. Yeah, probably. Stephen Hedger, classic eBay at its best. Johnny Random, let's all bombard Deal Croydon with spam offers. I can't endorse that, but I can't stop you from doing it either. Steve Hoggart is in the building, everyone. Steve Hoggart, the musical polymath is Steve. Studio owner, session bass player, music lecturer, and pretty much, I think you've probably done every job in the music business other than catering manager, and it wouldn't surprise me if you've done that as well. Just I want to mention before we go on any further, Red Carmageddon, the get-together in Redcar, September the 19th. Put the date in your diaries and get yourself up to Redcar for an evening of beer and curry. There's plenty of Airbnbs and guest houses and places like that where you can get a very reasonably priced place to lay your weary head after an evening on the beer and on the curry. September the 19th, it's a Friday night, and Rex from Arizona, Rex Amatic, goes by on here. He's coming all the way from Phoenix, Arizona to have a beer and a curry with us. Isn't that something special? I will either put a chunk of money behind the bar so everybody gets a couple of drinks on me, or I'll do what I did last time, which is to settle the restaurant bill. Either way, that's just my way of giving something up, giving a little something back for all the support that you chaps have shown me. And I've got to tell you, now it's starting to feel a bit more like summer. Because the rain's warmer. No, now it's starting to feel a bit more like summer. September's starting to feel a little bit closer, and because that's just the other side of summer, isn't it? And I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing all of you lovely chaps in the flesh. If let's get to about a month or so beforehand, and if you can start confirming, whether you're going to be coming or not. jrguitartuition@gmail.com. JR, those are my initials. Guitar Tuition, that's my job, @gmail.com. Just drop me a line so I can get the table booked at the restaurant and everything. And a rollicking good time will be had by all. Funnily enough, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. That's the exact same email address that you need to send some pictures of guitars for me to put up on the live stream, which is exactly what we're going to do now. Just navigate my way back to here, and let's go back to the screen share once again and have a look and see what we've got. No, I don't want to see that Les Paul copy again. No, we'll go to this one instead, which is a picture of some acoustics belonging to Chrissy Fiday. I don't know if you go by a different name in the chat, mate, but I think this is possibly the first picture you've sent in. We've got a Taylor GS Mini E Walnut. Chrissy is obviously a Southport. Then we've got an Ovation, a Fender Newporter. Is it Takamine or is it Takamine? I've heard it pronounced both ways. All electrodes with tuners and lefties. Yeah, we can tell that. Either that or you flip the picture in Photoshop. No, but yeah, okay. You're a southpaw. You're a left-handed guitar player, and that's a lovely brood of instruments, mate. Then we've got one belonging to Dave Thompson. This is his sire, Larry Carlton L5. Obviously, kind of sire going after the Dan Electro market there. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, I'm not sure about that, but it's got a certain charm to it, it has to be said. And you just know it's a sire, so it's going to be exquisitely built. Moving on, one from Derek Stopperton, where he's, see this sound hole here? That's Derek's repair to that sound hole. He did that all by himself, and saved what was potentially a guitar that could have ended up as firewood. Well done, mate. Then George sent me this picture of his telly, and the title of the subject line of the email was "Honey, I Shrunk the Rig." You can see here, Telecaster, Sonicake Pocket Master, all you need. Having played the Pocket Master, it's a great little unit, and if you're into all of that sort of NAM stuff, neural amp modeling, which I would not know where to begin, but if you are, if that's something that is on your radar, then that is possibly the cheapest way that you can access those neural amp models that you can get. I think I paid 42 quid for mine, but they're going for about 60 now. Yeah. It's just nice looking telly as well. Can't really tell much about it, but lovely looking setup there, if minimalist. Moving on, Jim Howard rather. This is Jim Howard's 12-string and bass, one of his basses. I'm still ploughing through a load of pictures that Jim sent me of his massive guitar collection. He's got more basses than I have guitars. What we got here, this is, can't tell the brand name from either of those, really don't recognise them, but I'm sure Jim will let me know in the comments after he's watched this on Catch Up. By the way, if you're watching on Catch Up, thank you for watching on Catch Up. Much appreciated. And what have we got here? We've got Len McIver's Avery Strat. A recent acquisition. I had to Google what Avery meant. It's American Vintage Reissue. I didn't know what that meant, so there's some of the lingo that escapes me. But yeah, a nice looking vintage flavoured Strat that doesn't look like it spent 40 years buried in a peat bog. As you may have gathered from last week's Top 5 Tuesday video, I don't really understand relicking at all. But that is, it just looks like a really nice Strat, doesn't it? I especially like the kind of clay dots on the neck. I always think that looks really rather tasteful. The opposite of the PRS racing pigeons, which I'm slowly learning to live with. But, I would love that PRS even more if it had moon inlays. Anyway, what we got here, this belongs to Mark Cardy. Is it Card or Cardy? I'm not sure. His 2017 PRS SE System Custom 24 in flat black with PRS 8515 S pickups. That looks like a proper gangster guitar, doesn't it? That's the guitar that you're not going to spill its paint, are you? It's it doesn't need to shout about. It's just there. Yeah, it's I'm a black guitar, and it's like a matte finish as well, which is even more kind of mean and moody. Fantastic looking instrument, mate. Well done. We've got Steve Linden's Squire Affinity. This is, it's the epitome of the good value for money entry level modding platform of a Strat, isn't it? It's going to have just the kind of cheap dime pots and the ceramic pickups, and I don't know these pickups ceramic and anything, but it's got good bones, and you can mod the heck out of it and end up with something that's really like proper high end. Well, Jack Pearson, the Nashville session guitarist, doesn't he use one of these, or does he use the one below it, the Bullet Strat? Either way, giggable instruments. And there's something about a Sunburst. I'm not really a Strat guy, as you know, but there's something about a Sunburst Strat that just always kind of does it for me, really. Then we've got Stephen Hedges guitars. Talking about Sunburst Strats, we've got one here. A 60s reissue Strat with 3-tone Sunburst and 3-ply scratch plate. We've seen this guitar before, and I did wonder whether it was actually a 50s reissue because of the maple fretboard, but Stephen insists and reassured me rather that it is a 60s reissue, and you can tell that from the 3-tone Sunburst on the body. Apparently they did do maple fretboards as a custom option. The Artist H.H. Telly, I used to have one of those. Lovely guitar, but an absolute boat anchor of a thing to play. And but the neck on them is absolutely sublime and to die for. Anyone see John Cordy's video where he's playing that black Paisley Artist Telecaster? I am tempted. I've got to say, I am tempted. And then we've got a 60s style parts caster with hand wound Derringer pickups. Never heard of those, but again, it's got something about a natural Strat. It's a Strat in natural finish. It floats my boat, mate. Then another one of Tom Clark's Fretlight guitars. We saw one of them last week. He's got a bunch of them. If you're not sure what Fretlight guitars are, you can, if you zoom in, you can see they've got LEDs in the neck, and this looks like it's a bit of a restoration project because a lot of the stuff that's down here is missing, but you basically dial in a key and a scale and everything down there, and it all lights up for you on the neck courtesy of the LEDs. So there you go, folks. That is this week's selection of viewers' guitars, which we don't call readers' wives. I'm just going to pour another wee bit of lubricant and catch up on the chat. And then we'll have a little bit of a look at this week's Viewer's Tale. It's a good one this week. It's a bit long, but it's worth it, I promise you. Let's have a look and see. Let's have a drink first. Oh, yes. Hits the spot. Let's have a wee look, see what I've been missing. I've just put two and two together. Mark Card is MW Card. Yes, flat black, special edition. Thank you, mate. I don't know why I didn't make that connection about your kind of actual name and your name in the chat. But thank you. Card, thank you, mate. Thank you. I only ask because I did have a mate years ago who had the E on the end of his name. His surname was Fosse, and I always thought it was Foss, but no, it's Fossey. So that's why I was a little bit in two minds about your name, mate. Glenn Bailey, I like tellies. Let's have a look. Jay Aoyong is saying, I think it's Takamine. Okay, fair enough. Let's have a look. Gary Shaw, I said I met him in a club in Orlando in the late 90s. Both of us were slightly Scooby-Doo. I tripped and knocked him on the floor. Oh, dear me. That's Rick Derringer, I think we're talking about, isn't it? Yes, that could be a brush with fame story. Do you want to flesh that out a bit and send it along to, the Viewers' Tales section? Tom Clark, yes, we've all heard that one before, mate. I dreamt that I'd eaten a giant marshmallow when I woke up, my pillow had gone. I'm not creative. Could you claim that as a tax redux as dinner for business relations? I could. It's worth looking into, mate. I didn't last time, but it might be worth looking into. So anyway, what else have we got? Jimmy James saying nice selection this week. And let's scroll down a wee bit. Mr. Chris is saying, I'm Chrissy Friday. Sorry, I didn't know that, mate. It came from a different email account. Mr. Chris, do you have a burner email account for some nefarious reason? Just wondering. Anyway, there we go. And confirming that it is Takamine. Let's go over to, well, you don't need to go anywhere. I need to go over to a different folder where I've got the Viewers' Tales. This is a good one. This one comes from Mr. Robert Balder. Have we seen him in the chat tonight? I don't think we have. He said, in the late 1980s, early 90s, I was living in Guildford, working at British Aerospace on Harriers and Tornadoes at Dunsfield Aerodrome, where Top Gear was shot. I quickly made friends with a party animal from Nottingham called Richard, Buddy, as in Buddy Rich. Yeah, Richard becomes Rich. Rich becomes Buddy Rich. Fair enough. He was a huge Stranglers fan, originally called the Guildford Stranglers, and we talked about their back catalogue as we visited various pubs and sites that they'd been known to frequent. One Saturday, we took in a jumble sale at the Shalford Scout Hut, which was one of their early rehearsal spaces, and my friend picked up a heavy black railwayman's jacket for 50p. He wore it everywhere, and we started an urban myth that had been left behind by the band at a rehearsal, and people always fell for it. This carried on until the day someone stole it from the Intrepid Fox, famous punky pub that was on Wardour Street in Soho, which left Buddy devastated. A few years later, we found ourselves in the venue The Fleece in Bristol, accompanied by his wide boy womanising mate Ian, who famously took his hairdryer to Glastonbury in 1995. Whilst Ian was chatting up some women, I noticed that Hugh Cornwell was sitting having a drink with a rather attractive blonde, so we were brave enough to approach and were soon sat down discussing Guildford pubs and Stranglers tours and anecdotes. Hugh Cornwell being the front man of the Stranglers, obviously. Buddy was dewy-eyed and in heaven. After a while, the story of the leather jacket came up, and Buddy asked if the band had ever left one behind at the Scout Hut. Yes, actually, I think we did, said Mr. Cornwell. This can't be true, thought Buddy. Yes, I think it was brown, said Hugh Cornwell. Fantasy shattered. That wasn't so bad, but a minute later, Ian walked up with the two girls in tow and rudely shouted, Oi, Buddy, Baldy, stop talking to those two old farts. We're heading off to the next pub with the girls. Apologies, Mr. Cornwell, said a red-faced and flustered Buddy, but his idol was already turning away. The rest of the night was a bit of a blur, but there was certainly a real atmosphere for the rest of the weekend. What a great story about meeting your hero and having your supposed friend absolutely stomp all over it with his hobnail-sized tens. What a great story. That is, by the way, the last of the viewers' brush with fame stories that I have in stock. So if you've got any anecdotes like that, any stories where you met your rock idol and they were great and you had a beer with them and, everything was tickety-boo, or maybe you met them and they were less than gentlemanly, then please let me know. Send the stories along to the usual email address, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and maybe they'll get read. Well, they will get read out on this stream at some point. As I say, I've exhausted my supply now. And by the way, don't feel about having to be historically accurate or 100% truthful, as long as the basic gist of the story is there and the main salient points are all, somewhere, towards the truthful end of the spectrum. Feel free to gild the lily a little bit. Feel free to, just use artistic license for the purposes of entertaining storytelling. Anyway. Let's have a look. Mark Fay is saying, anyone got a Gretsch G5420T worth getting? Problem with Gretches is I might have played one, but I can't bloody well remember because it's just remembering this alphanumeric model number that that all Gretches come with. It's like a G5420T. It's, call a fax machine. Anyone remember fax machines? Call a printer a G5420T. Call a microwave oven a G5420T. But give a guitar a name, for crying out loud. Let's have a look. Oh, Mr. Chris is saying he's having bother with his other email account. Oh, sorry, mate. I wasn't implying anything that you might have a burner account for, just kind of the reasons why people have a burner account. Johnny D saying, okay, John, let me tell you about the night me and Ludo Beethoven got wrecked in Bristol back in the day. Yeah, you can't use that much artistic license, mate. That's pushing it a little bit too far, I would suspect. Steve Cassidy guitar. The G5420T is in my vid tonight, straight after this. There's your answer, mate. Go and watch Steve Cassidy's video in about 12 minutes' time, and you'll see what that particular model of Gretsch is all about. Let's have a look, see what else we've got to talk about. Blue Sofa Songs is saying, surely Red Carmageddon can be claimed as business entertainment. I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, to be honest with you, mate. I know that I do know that if you start putting too much of that kind of stuff through your tax return, then it possibly raises certain red flags with the tax authorities. And I come into contact with them once a year, and I like to just kind of keep that contact once a year, and and not have an ongoing dialogue, as they say. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think you're talking about the black guitars there. Look like there'll be fingerprint magnets. I think I've only ever owned recently one black guitar. It was a Harley Benton. I can't remember the model number of it because I'm useless at remembering model numbers, as we've just discovered about that Gretsch guitar. But it was like a twin humbucker Telecaster with through body stringing and a Tune-o-matic bridge. And it was in gloss black, and it was just... It looked stunning until you played it, and then it just looked like it was covered in chip fat because just your greasy fingerprints were all over it. So black guitars have always been a little bit, not sure about that ever since. But that PRS, boy, did it look nice. Let's have a look. Vincent Brennan. Anyone own a Harley Benton Infinity mirror guitar? Kind of like it, but don't. I don't think I've seen the Infinity mirror guitar. I don't think that's a mod. Mind you, I haven't been on Tourman's website in eons. I haven't been. I was on there the other day just to check the availability of a particular guitar that I was making a video about, but I only looked at that guitar's listing because I just googled the make and model of the guitar, and Tourman was one of the results that came up. So I looked at that page, but just browsing Tourman, I haven't looked at it in. It's got to be over a year. Because I think I've pretty much exhausted all of the only reason you go to go to Tourman really is to check out, or the only reason I do is to check out Harley Benton guitars. And I've played all of the Harley Bentons that I'm interested in so far. If they bring out a TE Modern Plus, like, they did with the ST Modern Plus, if they bring out like, a telly version of that, arguably they maybe already have, but if they were to do something similar to that, to the ST Modern Plus with a Telecaster shape, I might be tempted down that route, but I don't know if there's anything like that in the pipeline. If you've got an inside track on what Tourman are doing and what kind of stuff they're planning, then let me know. Let's put that up on screen, mate. Glenn Bailey is saying check out Steve Cassidy video after this stream. There's the link there. You can find that in the chat. You can't click on it when it's on screen, but you can click on it when it's in the chat. So go and check that out straight after this video. Theme Tunes is saying, have you thought about getting a couple of grand for your satellite, Les Paul? Could be looked at as a bargain to anyone tempted by the 4K model. Yeah, I will never get rid of that satellite. I haven't played it since the original demo. I might do another video on it, actually. The story behind that guitar is, as many of you know, because I mention it often enough, my first electric guitar was a Woolworths Top 20, and my second electric guitar that I traded up to was a satellite Les Paul copy in Sunburst, and I have fond memories of it because it was my first gigging guitar back in 1980-ish. Can't remember that far back. And a very kind chap called Neil, who was the father of one of my ex-students, a lad called Spencer, just turned up one day with that guitar and said, yeah, I've got this for you. He'd obviously found it somewhere, got a good price on it, and just gave it to me. And I have been tempted to upgrade it and mod it and everything, but something about me wants me to keep it pure and keep it in its original condition. And it's I'm thinking about maybe now finding some kind of reason to do another video on it, because when you make YouTube videos, what you're doing is you're not doing a guitar review, you're not doing a guitar lesson, you're essentially in the storytelling business. That's what I've sort of learned over the years doing this. And if I can think of a way of framing a video around a story that I can tell about that guitar that's different from the original video that I did with it, then I would love to feature that guitar again in another video. So yes, that would be a good one to do. So watch this space. Bill Mumbo is saying, John, how about people sending in pictures of their first guitars? That is something that's been suggested before, and I've put that out there, and I've had a couple of responses, but not enough to do a full feature on the live stream about it. But yeah, if you've still got your first guitar, if you're like, what's his name, Don Felder out of the Eagles, who's never ever sold a guitar, apparently he's still got his very first ever guitar all those years later. If you've still got your first ever guitar, and if there's enough of them, we could certainly do a feature on that. Yes, very definitely. Johnny Random saying, an idea for a vid. The difference between 70s budget and modern guitars. Done that already, mate. Done that already. I think I did. Anyway, I'll have to check. It's certainly. I remember thinking. Thinking that I'd done that video. But you know, I remember my my satellite Les Paul copy back when I got it in 1980. I'm going to say 1980. Nice round figure. It was £80, and I paid it off a little bit per week out of my pocket money, out of my Saturday job money, basically, from my mother's catalogue. So an £80 Les Paul copy in 1980, adjust that for inflation versus the equivalent kind of Les Paul copy that you could buy today for the equivalent money. That might be a video to do, but something is, I make that many videos, I forget what I've made, to be honest with you. Something is ringing a little bell in the back of my head saying, you've made that video already. So I'll have to have a look back through my YouTube dashboard and see whether or not I've actually done that one. Mike Stewart is saying, I smashed my first guitar, was totally inebriated. Did you get seized by the Townsend spirit, mate? Austin Barrett is saying, I've still got my first guitar, had it 63 years. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Johnny Randoms, only ever sold one guitar, a BC Rich Mockingbird. Couldn't wait to get rid of it. Yeah, you've got to have a bit of a triangle fixation to go down the BC Rich, kind of rabbit hole, haven't you? It's not a guitar. BC Rich guitars are not a guitar for those people who want something subtle and understated. It has to be said. Anyway, chaps, let's see what else we can yabber on about in the dying minutes of the game. Ravensmead, boring question. What strings do you use? I use these. I've got pretty much a truckload of them because Ernie Ball 9-42s. I use those at the moment because, do you remember that green PRS that I briefly had? The not the PRS that I've got now, the SE CE24, but I had the SE CE24 standard satin before this one, and I got a good part exchange deal on it from Gear for Music, where I got the sort of the prettier looking CE24 from, and I got a good deal because I accepted store credit, so I just used all the store credit to buy kind of a boatload of strings, and I'm still working my way through them. So at the moment, Ernie Ball 9-42, that's what I'm using. I'm a 640, says about £300 a day. You can get a lot of Les Paul copy for £300, can't you? In this day and age, you could probably buy. Is there an Epiphone with a set neck for that sort of money? Probably. Certainly on the used market, but you certainly get a Harley Benton for that kind of money. Peter Nicholson saying, "Will you change the shirt before going for a meal?" No, if on the red Carmageddon night out, I shall be wearing this shirt. I can assure you. It'll be a rollicking good night. Robert Forsyth is, what is the most money you've ever paid for a guitar? The guitar that I'm having built at the moment by the wonderful James at Agrajag. It's on the workbench as we speak. I'll reveal all in terms of the cost, but yes, I paid a deposit of £1,000, so that was the deposit. Anyway, yes, so that will be the most expensive guitar I've ever bought, and I'm looking forward to getting it, to be honest with you. Anyway, chaps, 20 seconds left before you need to head off and watch Steve Cassidy, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute cobblers for an hour on a Friday, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.